Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to this Justin. Thank you for joining me today. In this video, I want to give you an update on SOFI. They've gotten a couple buy ratings and upgraded price targets over the last couple of weeks. So I wanted to give you my thoughts on where I see it going for the rest of the year. So let's jump right in. All right, guys, before we get started today, subscribe to the channel for me. Hit the little bell so you get notified every time I post. There's also a link down in the top pinned comment to my Patreon account. Come over and join the family. We've got an awesome community over there. You'll get access to the private Discord where we talk stocks. You can converse with me one-on-one. You'll also get all of my portfolios anytime I buy or sell a stock. But most importantly, all of the swing trade setups. I send them out pretty regularly. Anytime I enter a trade or I take profit or my watch list, really just anything that I'm buying, trading, or selling. So that way you can not only learn to identify those things, know what to look for, but also, make some money in the short term. There's also a lot of education over there that you can use to become a much better investor. So if that's something you're interested in, come over and join us. I know you'll get a lot of value out of it. Day One Squad, I love you guys. But yeah, come check it out. Also, we're going to be doing a Patreon only night again next Friday. For anybody that's not in the Patreon, if you want to join that, be a part of the Patreon only night, we do have a limited amount of tiers or spots left down on the $10 tier. So come check that out. But guys, let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about the market real quick. Jerome Powell is set to be talking tonight and giving us an update on where the country is going related to, interest rates, bond yields, tapering, all those different types of things. Now, the market is obviously, going to react in the worst way possible if they come out and say that they are going to start tapering. Over this last week, when we saw the indexes start to draw down, I almost felt like it was the market holding the Fed hostage. Like, if you taper, we're going to crash the market. So, who knows what's going to happen, guys. I actually don't think they're going to start tapering until next year. I just think that drawdown over the last couple of days is enough for them to be like, let's pump the brakes on that and, hold off a little bit longer. Obviously, at some point, they're going to have to do it, guys. And when they do it, the market's going to pull back. However, with that being said, I do see over the course of the next few weeks, November, December, towards the end of the year, even early January, February, I still think that we're going to see a really, really favorable market to, risk on higher growth stocks. It's just, that type of season. And, in order to combat inflation, you need to get into assets that give higher returns than standardized value stuff and things like that. So, what main thing I want to talk about in this video is SOFI. They've gotten a couple buy ratings and price upgrades over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's having a monster day. It's up like 11% today. It's actually looking really good on the chart as well. I was going to make a video anyways because it was getting down to those levels that were looking really appealing. So I wanted to look at those analyst, ratings, look at the price targets, and kind of give you my thoughts on it. Like, do we think SOFI will get that high? Do we agree? What do we think? One thing I want to mention, guys, SOFI has the bank charter catalyst still coming up. I own SOFI as a long-term high conviction hold, but I'm also open to trading it in the short term for, volatility and swing trades. And I think that that's one of the big reasons, why the upgrades have been issued, right? So they're, looking for an increase in their revenue and financial services aspect, which that's what the bank charter would help with. And that's I totally agree with that. My big thing is the member growth, because once they get that bank charter, they're going to hit 3 million members, this year. I actually projected that they would do a little bit higher based off of my math. And if you do want to see videos where I go much further in depth on SOFI, the company, all the fundamentals, I will link those above right here to where you can go check those out. Today, we're just going to look at these analyst price targets, look at the chart, and we'll wrap it up. We'll try to make it pretty quick. This was the first one I saw, guys. So what the price target at $25, so which would be 65% upside. When this was published, the price was I'm not sure, but it was released today, so it was the price it was today. The other one that I saw was actually even higher. He put it at $28. As you can see, he sets the price target at 28 based on 9 times 2023 sales, implying a 93% upside potential based on Tuesday's closing price. The analyst sees a path to 40% sales compounded annual growth rate by 2025, primarily due to a 150% compounded annual growth rate in financial services and 40 to 50% in Galileo. So that's pretty much what I'm saying, guys. So they're all banking and, looking forward to that bank charter. I think that once that bank charter gets announced that everything's good, they got it, you will see a lot of upward pressure on the stock because that's kind of the big catalyst that everybody's waiting for. I think regardless if they get that, bank charter or not, the stock will do well. They will do fine. But if they do not get the actual bank charter and they come out and announce that they do not get it, I think you'll see a big drawdown in the stock because that is set to increase their revenue tremendously. And I think some of that may already be priced in. The thing about that bank charter, guys, is it's going to give them the potential or the ability to start taking, their customers' money or their members' money and using it to lend out, and give different products in lending. So they're not having to use different lending. They can lend their own money, make the interest just like a regular bank. If they don't get the bank charter, they would have to go through the traditional route of doing, a bank just like Wells Fargo would. And that takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And they probably wouldn't end up doing that. The big thing for me, guys, is, like I said, the member growth. They do a very good job at creating multi-product members. If they can focus on getting their average revenue per user up and growing their members, they will do just fine. Everything else will fall into place, especially once that bank charter gets there, because now they can do so much more. The other thing that I really like with SoFi is that Galileo platform. It is huge for them, guys. I mean, that puts them in a very good position and creates a big moat in that aspect. And I've made a video on that where I go in depth on Galileo and what it does and the benefits of it. So I will have that in the link above. Main thing I want to look at, guys, here is the chart. And do we think that it can hit those price targets, within the next couple of months, or is it a long-term 12, 24-month price target? If we take a look at the chart here, guys, you can see, decent looking chart. We had a pretty serious buy wall down here where anytime the stock would get around that $13.94 to $14.75, really that $14 to $15 range, it would get picked up and it was able to hold support. Initially, when we had that announcement clear back in January, it had that big run, reached the high point of $28.34, and that's all-time high. So that is the first price target of that guy, whatever, I don't know where he's from, but $28 on his and $25 on the other analysts. So the 25 would be confluent with the candle high close of all time back in January. So those are your two price target levels. I think that is absolutely doable. One thing I wanted to point out here, guys. So we had the first high, then we had a lower high. So we had the drawdown, the attempted rally, couldn't break through 24.22 to 25.14. That's not that great. That's bearish, guys. We had a supply line, got rejected not once, not twice, but 3 times before pulling back down to retest the zone. Now you can kind of see that we were getting that rounding bottom, making a higher low, which I think Bolkowski calls that a descending scallop. Then it had the big gap down. Well, notice here, guys, once it gapped down, it had the spring, the back test of the spring at the bottom of the zone. Spring, back test to spring at the top of the zone. And you could, if you really wanted to drop down to like an hourly, you could probably call that like a bull flag right there. But I look at bull flags over the course of like a week or two. That's like a valid bull flag. That is not. Then you had the big gap up today and you are testing that supply line. So you have the main supply line up here that was manufactured back in February of this year. Then you've got this other supply line that was manufactured in June. So you've got the 200-day moving average right there, and you've got the supply line. That was also the gap. So you just filled that gap. So you very well could draw back down. I do like the higher lows and the higher highs. But at the end of the day, this is kind of how I was looking at it before we had that big gap up. This would be kind of scary, guys. If we took a bullish ABCD pattern, that would take you clear down to 1272, down here at like let's see, right there. So that would bring you all the way down to these highs from clear back here in inception at $10, the NAV price. Now, do I think it's going to go there? Not necessarily. I think that, if that bank charter gets denied, we could absolutely see that $11, $10 price and complete that bullish ABCD pattern. If that completed, guys, those are your deep value perceived areas where that would be a tremendous spot for a long position, but we may not get there. Even if it gets rejected right here at the supply line in the 200-day moving average, you could come back just to back test it, make a higher low than the previous high or previous low, and run again. One thing I do want to point out is if we drop down right here, and again, guys, this, ABCD pattern is just all speculation, right? Because I was thinking if it wasn't going to hold here, it was going to see those prices, because anything under $14 is probably going back to 10. I mean, that's really those levels that you would see it. But one thing I want to show you is we have we have a potential for a 3 rising valleys right here. So we have the first valley, the second valley. What it could do is it could break the supply line, back test the supply line as support, and then come up to complete the 3 rising valleys at this resistance point and run to much higher prices. So that, and that's really the context you want to see those 3 rising valleys at. You want to see them after a big run up and a drawdown. You get the momentum shifting structure, then you get the first low, the second low, the third low. You break the highest point of the valley and you run. If you had that, guys, you would pretty much, like, say it broke it, back tested it. Oh, Ethereum Classic's running. Broke it, back tested it, and your measured move would pretty much put you right up around this supply line, that is manufactured back here. You break that supply line, you could see much higher prices. So I think SOFI is looking really good right now, guys, and I think that there's opportunity here. I would not buy it after you just had a 11% run. I would wait to see what happens over the course of the next couple of days, because this price action right here, super bullish. You have the doji, the gap down, the doji, the bullish engulfing, and then the gap. You want to probably see some follow through. It's all about the follow through price action. You did have bullish divergence on both your oscillators. You're on the daily, you just got into 61 on your relative strength index. So you're in the bullish control zone. Your positive momentum is starting to build again on your histogram. If we drop down to the 3-day, both of these, the 3-day and the weekly, look really, really strong. Big bullish engulfing candle that is going to paint today. I don't see it dumping unless the Jerome Powell just murders the market. If you go to the weekly, you had that beautiful inverted hammer right there back on August, the week of August 23rd, that, pretty much ushered in that reversal. So the chart is looking good, guys. These are those, lower risk levels, especially after you just got the confirmation that, 1475 is going to hold. But as of right now, again, I would want to see it get some more follow through price action before taking an entry. If you do not own it, or if you are taking it for a shorter term swing trade, that's what I would want to do. There is a lot of things that can happen on this chart, but ultimately, I think once you break this supply line, back tested as support, you will start advancing up to much higher prices. Once you break, $22, I think you're going to inevitably see 25. And if you break 25, I think you'll blow right through 28, because breaking 25 is breaking that previous discernible swing high, the major high. That's what you would need to do to get, to higher prices. If you were to take your fib extensions from that 25 high to the lowest point of this more recent, correction, look at the 1272, perfectly confluent with that 28 all-time high level. That's probably what you're going to see really quickly. And then the 1414 at 29.98 and the 1618 at 32.36. That's where I would see it going, guys, especially if the market continues to remain bullish. We stay in risk on assets. They postpone, tapering and, all of those different things with the Fed. We could see some really nice price action with SOFI. I have no problem, picking up additional shares down here. I think anytime you can get SOFI under $15, you are in killer territory, and it will do very, very well over the course of the long term. Another thing I wanted to show you, just for, the sake of, you know, looking at it for fun. You know, if you were to use a complex wave structure like a harmonic, and you know, say your X to A, and you didn't use like these big scam wicks, if you just used like this middle candle right here, went to this high and pulled down, you're pretty much right at like a Gartley. It's not traditional, but the 786 of the X to A, and you know, that's a really strong structure, guys. That, I mean, you could see a really nice reaction here, and it's pretty funny how you are getting that super bullish reaction on the weekly. So you know, your negative momentum is waning. You know, you haven't seen positive momentum on this stock on the weekly ever. You know, your RSI is at 53, pointing up, like you're breaking through neutral. Yeah, guys, it looks good. SOFI looks really good at these prices, and I think that the short-term rally could do very well, especially if you break up through that 200-day moving average. Then I think you'll be in really good shape. So that's it for today, guys. That's my thoughts on it. My price for the end of 2021 is at $25.14. That is my first target, and I do think we will get there by the end of this year. This video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a licensed stockbroker. Always do your own research and due diligence. Come join us at the Patreon if you want to be part of an amazing family, and let me know down in the comments what your price target is on SOFI, because I'd love to hear about it and talk with you. But yeah, that's it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love y'all. Peace.